Chicago area at this hour, but not quite as hard as it did earlier in the day. Meteorologist Mark Strill here now with the latest on this first big winter storm of the season.
Yeah, Dane, we told you earlier, actually over the last several days, that this would be a prolonged snow event. It started very early this morning, continues tonight, and we expect to see the snowfall during most of the overnight hours and even a few snow showers coming down as we get into the early morning hours. Even after sunrise, we can see some snow showers. But the visibility has improved, which indicates the snowfall coming down, as you mentioned, at a lesser rate. Still a winter storm warning posted for all of the region, and that'll be true overnight tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So be careful, roads will continue to be slick. Notice down in LaSalle County, there's a little area of pink indicating that there is some slightly warmer air giving us a little bit of a mixture right along the Interstate 39 I-80 corridor there. Now, I don't believe there's really any chance that that makes it here into Chicago, and even if it did, it really wouldn't have that much of a consequence. I think we remain all snow as that little area along Interstate 80 remains a little bit of a mix here as we go over the next couple of hours. But the snow continues to fall, and we'll continue to monitor that as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. Satellite and radar show some pockets of some dry air filtering in, and you can see off to the south, southwest, there's a little weak area of snowfall coming our way as well. The heavier snowfalls are in the darker blues, and you can see how they've kind of pushed through as we've gone throughout the late afternoon and now into the evening. Flight delays. Well, look at this. Some improvement. Midway now showing green, and some moderate flight delays at O'Hare. Minneapolis now is in red, indicating some problems there. Temperatures remain in the 20s and 30s, just as we've had throughout all day, and they're going to remain constant overnight tonight. 20s and 30s. Not really much change as we're kind of set up in this snowy environment with a lot of clouds. You can see temperatures 20s and 30s, snow showers at 6 a.m. By 10 a.m., maybe an isolated burst of some snow in some pockets, some areas, but for the most part, we're going pretty quickly back into cloudy skies. But this is a large snow event. Again, it stretches from Ontario all the way into West Virginia. And so far, we've had between 6 and 7 inches of snow across much of the area. Peatone coming in at 8 inches, Lamont at 7, Batavia at 7, Naperville at 7, and 7.5 in Park City, which is in Lake County. So snowfall will continue to fall as we go through the rest of the evening, and during the overnight hours, tapering off to just some scattered snow showers as we head into the morning tomorrow morning.
It seems like a pretty good-sized winter punch for this early in the season, Mark.
Yeah, the record for this date is 8 inches set back in 1951. I think that we should have no problems eclipsing that, seeing that most locations are already 7+ inches of snowfall. But in spite of the snowfall that we have today, we're still only about 6th or 7th in terms of all-time snowfalls for all of November. So there have been some snowy Novembers. Back in 1940, Dane, we had about 15 inches of snow. I don't remember that before my time, but can you imagine 15 inches of snow before we even hit December 1st?
Thanksgiving. Thank you very much,
Betcha.
Mark. Well, no matter where you were today, you were likely impacted by this first heavy snowfall. Now, roads at times treacherous to drive on, but the biggest problems were for people trying to fly in or out of Chicago.
We're traveling to Reno, Nevada, and we've been delayed for about 3 hours.
A trying day for travelers at Chicago's airports. Passengers gathered under the flight information boards with fingers crossed, but the news not good. Flight after flight either delayed or canceled altogether as plows struggle to keep the runways clear. By Saturday night, 1,169 flights had been canceled at O'Hare and 246 at Midway. That's roughly 40% of the scheduled takeoffs and landings on the day holiday travelers begin heading home. Delays at O'Hare running about an hour.
Sitting around, maybe get a drink or two, watch college football, and hope we don't get delayed more.
The roads not much better. Plows struggling to keep up with the heaviest snowfall in the afternoon. Here in Northbrook, a car slid into a ditch near Dundee and Waukegan. A family helped out of this van that skidded off the roadway in Winnetka. An IDOT spokesperson tells us some areas are better than others.
It depends on where you are. I mean, some of the area expressways are looking where it's more wet pavement. As you get in a little bit more south, down on 55, closer to the Joliet area, you're still having some snow, especially in those middle lanes. As soon as a snowstorm hits, we become a 24/7 operation. So we don't, we just change over shifts, but we don't go home until everything is cleaned up.
In the city, the story much the same. Streets and Sanitation deploying all 240 of its salt and plow trucks with an initial focus on the main arterial roads.
We just did a switch, so we got a fresh group on for overnight. We're going to continue to focus on our main streets to get those safe and passable. Right now, it looks like we're catching a little bit of a break. They were busy all afternoon, but we're doing some curb work, some centers, and we're still a little slushy in spots. So please give yourself enough time to get to places.
Oh, it's great. You know, we love the Windy City.
You were tongue-in-cheek, I hope, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
On Michigan Avenue, holiday shoppers hunched against the wind and the stinging snow. Still, some making the best of it with a snowball fight.
You know, it'll get packing snow. It's not that bad right now. It'll get it to a
Target, you know what you're going to throw it at?
Yeah, one of them. I'm just going to wait to stay back a little bit.
And while heavy snow might be a familiar sight to most of us, not if you're from Australia.
Is this what you were looking forward to? Did
Yes,
you want to
obviously.
see snow?
I was literally planning for this. I wanted to experience snowfall in Chicago. This was lovely.
And he got it. IDOT also confirming tonight that troopers are transporting stranded motorists along I-80 to local hotels. And also a snow-related reminder for you that starting at 3 a.m. Monday morning, Chicago's overnight parking ban begins on 107 miles of city streets. From December 1st to April 1st, cars are not allowed to park between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. on those designated streets. The city usually tows hundreds of cars when that ban first goes into effect. Stay with us for the very latest on this snowstorm. When we're not on the air, you can get updates online and at fox32chicago.com, also on the Fox 32 weather app. Dozens forced out into the cold and into the snow after a large fire breaks out at an apartment complex in Carpentersville. We'll tell you about those impacted coming up next. Now to the latest in that attack on 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. The suspect in the shooting is facing a first-degree murder charge, and one of the victims is dead. The other remains in critical condition. Mark Meredith has more on the continuing search for answers.
The individual who did this will pay the ultimate price.
Tonight, federal prosecutors say they'll seek the death penalty for 29-year-old Ramanula Lockenwall, who's accused of ambushing 2 National Guard members on this D.C. street corner Wednesday.
I think the American people will definitely support these charges. It's a horrific attack, a terrorist attack on our peacekeepers.
The suspect, who remains in the hospital, immigrated to the U.S. from Afghanistan in 2021 and had worked with the CIA in Kandahar. Investigators say they're examining Lockenwall's past, including his life overseas.
Mr. Lockenwall's pathway from Washington to D.C., it raises some interesting questions, right? Questions like, was Mr. Lockenwall already radicalized before he migrated to the United States?
The New York Times says it spoke with a childhood friend of the suspect and that Lockenwall, quote, had suffered from mental health issues and was disturbed by the casualties his unit had caused. Investigators have searched the suspect's apartment in Washington State, where neighbors say they too have questions.
It's like less than 50 feet away from my apartment, so it kind of scares me, Who knows what could actually happen after this.
Tonight, tributes continue to pour in for the 2 West Virginia Guard members targeted in the attack. 24-year-old Andrew Wolf remains in the hospital. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom died on Thanksgiving. Late Thursday, D.C. first responders paused for a dignified transfer procession for Beckstrom's body. Tonight, she's being called a hero. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino writing, her sacrifice will never be forgotten. Today, National Guard members were spotted, still on duty, including outside D.C.'s Union train station. In the wake of the shooting, D.C.'s Metropolitan Police say they'll be working in close coordination with the National Guard on their mission, meaning we could see more police side by side with those troops still on patrol. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Northwestern University has reached a settlement with the Trump administration to settle claims of anti-Semitism. The university has agreed to pay $75 million in order to have its research money restored. Back in April, the White House said it was withholding nearly $800 million in federal funds from Northwestern over claims that it failed to protect Jewish students on campus. Now, you might remember this is connected to the protests on campus against the war in Gaza. Northwestern's president says this deal does not mean the school is controlled by the White House.
I would not have signed anything that would have given the federal government any say in who we hire, what they teach, who we admit, or what they study. This has been an extremely difficult time for our community, and I believe this agreement was the best path forward for us to be able to turn the page.
Northwestern was one of 60 colleges the Education Department accused of failing to protect Jewish students. The Christkindlmarket says changes made by the city this year to capacity limits may put it out of business. The city has put a 1,500-person limit on the market at the Daily Plaza. Even during the pandemic, the limit was around 3,500 people. And in the past, the market has hosted about 5,000 at a time. Vendors at the market say you'll be the ultimate loser. You will be the ultimate loser if the city doesn't change because they won't be able to stay in business.
I have no clue why the city has surprised us with new regulations without giving us any information in advance. These regulations will make our survival very difficult, if not impossible. Just when we oldies are handing over the torch to the next generation, we are threatened to be closed for good if we allow you, the people of Chicago, to roam freely in and out of our market.
The market is hoping the city will respond to its worries and change that limit. The city is said to be still talking with the organizers at the market. A massive apartment fire in Carpentersville has left dozens of people looking for a new place to live. The fire broke out at the Meadowdale Apartments, and 2 fire companies were called to try to fight it. Now, witnesses say there are 24 units at that building. All of them were damaged. The residents say the roof collapsed.
We're just watching 24 people's houses catch on fire, unfortunately. It's sad to see. People just lost their homes. The fire spreads really quickly, quicker than you really think. Once you see it in person, you see how quick it can just be all engulfed.
One person was treated for smoke inhalation there. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. All right, Mark, looks like the bulk of that snow is behind us, but still a little bit to go overnight, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to continue to snow. It should be light snow, not the heavier snowfall that we had earlier this afternoon, but we'll continue to see some light snow all the way into the pre-dawn hours overnight. So we'll continue to tack on a couple of more inches of snow across much of the area. And right now, much of the area has seen between 7 and 8 inches of snow, a remarkably homogeneous amount across a wide swath of the area. 29 degrees right now, south-southeast winds at 13 miles per hour this hour. And you can see the satellite and radar still showing Chicago under snow from Rockford to Kankakee to the lakefront, all the way across northwest Indiana. Temperatures now in the 20s, some low 30s. And again, this snow continues to fall across Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all the way to West Virginia, now heading into New Jersey and even New York. So your 3-day forecast calls for some more light snowfall tomorrow morning, maybe a couple of snow showers very early, especially around sunrise and maybe shortly thereafter. High temperatures tomorrow around 32 degrees. Monday looks dry for much of the day. However, there's another round of some snowfall coming in Monday night and into early Tuesday. Looks like another couple of inches are possible. So snowplow drivers, not a whole lot of rest before another round of snow coming in, although admittedly much less. Tuesday, we've got partly sunny skies to mostly cloudy skies and temperatures cooling off into the 20s. It's going to be a cold week ahead. So here's what we're talking about. This is 8:45 tomorrow morning. You can still see a few snow showers through the Kankakee River Valley, but pretty quickly we dry out, and even the possibility of a little peek of sun tomorrow briefly before those clouds fill in again. High pressure slides across the area on Monday. We're quiet for most of Monday, but look at the time clock there as 5 and 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening draw in. By 10 o'clock, another round of showers, snow moving in again from Michigan back into Missouri, another round of snow coming our way. So winter storm warning continues again overnight tonight. Travel still hazardous and difficult, especially with some blowing and drifting of snow in some of the outlying areas. Southeast winds tonight at 15 to 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 28 degrees our high temperature. Again, snowfall totals, I think most of us are going to come in pretty close to around 8 inches, which is more or less what we were talking about over the last couple of days. 32 tomorrow for the daytime high. Some morning snow, otherwise cloudy skies, and it should be dry during the afternoon. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We've got temperatures into the 30s on Sunday, 20s on Monday. Look at Tuesday, 24 degrees. Look at Thursday, only 20 for a daytime high. But at least we stay dry for a good portion of midweek and beyond.
Want to get that snow off the ground before it freezes.
There you go.
Don't need to tell you, it's a good time to be a Bears fan. Excitement continuing to build after they beat the defending Super Bowl champions. Next up in sports, Lou and Tina will help break down the big win and next week's matchup against those hated Packers. And taking another live look out there, you see the snow falling over the city's skyline, but you can see the city's skyline, which is much more than you could say a few hours ago. We'll be back with sports right after this.
know you guys are hungry for more, right? Itching. Let me tell you something. The city of Chicago is hungry too.
How about that, guys? I mean, the Bears were money in Philadelphia. Bears winning 24-15. You like those socks? Tina Wynn. Pat, the designer from ESPN Radio Chicago. Matt Spiegel from 670 The Score. Guys, as the head coach just said, Chicago is hungry for a team like this, a team that no one wanted to give credit to. The naysayer said, they haven't beaten anyone yet, and they just went into the defending Super Bowl champs' house and knocked them off, Tina.
Listen, it was such a good win that you got the head coach taking his shirt off now. I mean, Chicago, the Bears are 9-3 on this season. Just take a moment to let that sink in and enjoy it. They've got a good offensive line. They're physical. They've got a run game. They got a quarterback that can win them games, and they've got a head coach that puts them in a position to win games.
I love everything that we saw out of this team yesterday. I mean, like it was phenomenal to see how they were able to step up in, like you said, the defensive moments. The run game stepped up. We're 9-3 with an offensive line that has bookend tackles, guy. When is the last time we could say that in Chicago? We have real bookend tackles, and you've got an interior of a line that is dangerous. You see this team taking on the culture of Ben Johnson and being able to adapt it. And like you said about the naysayers, there's nothing left to prove. These takeaways can't continue. Yes, they can. To Sean Wright, big takeaway yet again. You're never going to be able to beat a team that is a above 500 team. You've done it 2 weeks in a row now. One of them's the Super Bowl champions.
The coach flipped the culture in year one, and you got a whole building full of people that believe, and we have seen that. What we didn't think is that they could go on the road and beat a team like that. But guess what? The run game travels in the NFL, and this is the best running team in the NFL. They were second to Buffalo coming into this week. Is Buffalo going to run for 282? I doubt it. So the Bears are defining who they are and have now changed the conversation about how you feel about them. They're the 2 seed. Can they beat anybody in the NFL when you run it like that? Yes, you can.
These guys always believed in themselves. Here was player reaction afterwards.
A statement win, I feel like caters to you feeling sort of validated by proving people wrong outside the building. For us, I think we're just trying to validate our internal beliefs, our internal goals, and that's any given Sunday. That's what a win does for your team. It just continues to reaffirm the work that you put in and the goals that you're trying to reach, and the Lombardi Trophy.
We don't really care about what the national narrative is about this team, man. We just go out there, whoever they put in front of us on our schedule, we just line them up, we try to knock them down, and I think we've been doing a really good job of that.
I think it kind of just knocks off some of the doubt that we can play against some of the better teams. I mean, again, everybody was saying about the records and winning teams that we beat, things like that. But again, I mean, it's an every week league. You got to come in, you got to show up, you got to outplay the opponent.
We got guys that really care, and so we can do something special for Chicago. And the frustration comes in just because, you want to maximize. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste, a year or anything like that. And, that's why we get up that's why I get up every day. And so we haven't hit our pinnacle yet in the sense of a team and execution on offense. And we're still winning these games. And so that's really important. And that's why I'm extremely excited.
So the Bears are 9-3, 2 seed in the NFC playoff picture after Detroit loses, but Green Bay wins on Thanksgiving Day. Minnesota travels to Seattle on Sunday. We'll carry that game here on Fox 32 Chicago. What's left? The Packers at Lambeau Field. Something more for this team to prove.
Absolutely. It's time. We have wanted them to take the North and never give it back, like Ryan Poles promised us, right? Now they're going to be on top of the division for the 3rd consecutive week, but we know what it is. You got to be better than Green Bay to get full belief in this town.
I just want to see you continue to use the game plan that made Santa Claus leave Philly. Like, I can't believe we saw that yesterday. And it's run the football right at the best pass rushers. You continue to do that just about every play on a couple of drives, right at the teeth of that defense. I want to see you do that versus Micah Parsons. I think when you go into this Green Bay game, dare I say it may be advantage Bears.
Bears, Packers, 325 right here on your home of the Bears. Fox 32, Chicago, a week from Sunday. And guys, remember, Ben Johnson took his shirt off.
Oh, yeah.
Free hot dogs for everyone at the Wiener Circle. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lou. Mark's going to be back with a final check of the forecast when we come back. As we've been saying, it's been plenty busy at O'Hare and Midway, and the airport is also wanting to help people connect with Santa. The Letters to Santa program started yesterday and goes through December 19th. Now, passengers will be able to send postcards to the North Pole. There are mailboxes at both airports, and airport ambassadors are on hand to mail the letters. Santa and his helper will reply to each passenger who provides their contact information. Looking a little bit like the North Pole around here tonight,
no
isn't it?
About it, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like the North Pole too, or will this week, as temperatures dip into the teens and 20s
Right.
for daytime
Getting really
highs.
cold for the first time.
It is really going to, especially with all that snow on the ground. It's going to be a little bit of a cold feedback loop this week, and we're looking at temperatures well below average all week long. Look at some of these numbers. Low 30s coming up on your Sunday. We're in the upper 20s for Monday, mid 20s Tuesday, and then looking ahead to next Thursday, I've got 20 penciled in there. But that means most of the day will be spent in the teens, Danny. It is going to be a very chilly week. Keep in mind that normal daytime high temperatures this time of the year actually in the 40s.
Wow.
So we're
a long way
below
from
average.
that. All right. Thank you, Mark. And thank you for watching this digital edition of Fox 32 Saturday. We're going to see on the air after the Illini Northwestern game that's wrapping up right now. We'll see you in a minute.
Yo, what's up? It's your favorite neighborhood historian, Dillard, reporting live from a South Side neighborhood. Now, we're either in Chatham or we're in Grand Crossing.